Good morning or afternoon. We're looking at the first reading in the Body Works unit, and it's titled Animal Body Plans. And we have two key questions here: how are animal bodies organized, and how is symmetry related to body structure? My Planet Diary, spiny sea animals. What do you think of, or what do you think of when you hear the word spiny? You might think of a porcupine, but sea urchins are spiny too. These small, colorful creatures live in the ocean. Just by looking at them, you can tell that studying sea urchins would lead to a major discovery about how animals reproduce. In 1875, biologist Oscar Hertwig was studying a transparent egg of a sea urchin under a microscope. He saw a sperm, the male sex cell, enter the egg, the female sex cell, and fuse with the nucleus of the egg. He had discovered how sexual reproduction occurs. How are animal bodies organized? Animals are diverse organisms, but the animals within each phylum have uniquely organized body structures. This organization is called a body plan. The organization of an animal's cells into higher levels of structure, including tissues, organs, and organ systems, help describe an animal's body plan. Up here you can see the vocabulary is going to be defined in the reading: tissue, organ, radial symmetry, and bilateral symmetry. Cells and tissues. All animals are made up of many cells. Their cells are usually specialized and organized as tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells that perform a specific function. Muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and connective tissue are all animal tissues. Bone and blood are examples of kinds of connective tissues. Organ and organ systems. In most animals, tissues combine to form organs and organ systems. An organ is made up of different tissues. For example, the leg bone of a frog shown below in Figure 1 is an organ composed of bone tissue, nervous tissue, and blood. An organ performs more complex functions than the tissues that make it up could perform alone. Groups of organs make up organ systems. These systems perform the animal's broadest functions. So again here, cells make up tissues that make up organs that make up organ systems. And organ systems doesn't show it on here, but organ systems make up organisms. How is symmetry related to body structure? Have you ever noticed a butterfly perched on a flower? You probably saw its colors and wing patterns. Did you also see that the pattern on the left side is a mirror image of the pattern on the right side? Many organisms and objects have this balanced display of body parts called symmetry. Types of symmetry. Animals have different types of symmetry, as you can see in Figure 2. Some animals have no symmetry or are asymmetrical. For example, most sponges are asymmetrical. However, most animals have either radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry. An animal has radial symmetry if many imaginary lines can be drawn through a central point to divide it into two mirror images. For example, from above, the shape of a jellyfish is circular, so any imaginary line drawn through its center divides it into mirror images. These lines are called lines of symmetry. Most animals have bilateral symmetry. An example or an object has bilateral symmetry if only one line of symmetry can be drawn to divide it into halves that are mirror images. For example, the dashed line you see drawn on the butterfly above divides the animal into halves that are mirror images of each other. So this is bilateral symmetry. You can just roll one line and each half is a mirror image of the other. Okay, Figure 2. You're being asked in your notes to identify the sea star here is either having bilateral or radial symmetry. The coral here, bilateral, radial or asymmetrical, and the same with the crab here. Does it have bilateral, radial, or asymmetrical, no symmetry? So write in your notes which one you think that is. Symmetry and body structure. The structures of animals are related to their symmetry. The bodies of animals without symmetry are organized simply, with some specialized cells but no tissues. In contrast, animals with radial symmetry have complex body plans with tissues and usually with organ systems. Animals with bilateral symmetry have organ systems. All animals with radial symmetry live in water. Some creep slowly along the ocean floor. Others stay in one spot as adults. A few can move quickly. Most animals with radial symmetry do not have front or back ends. Also, they do not have heads with specialized sense organs. This kind of symmetry allows them to take in information about their surroundings from all directions. This is an advantage for animals that usually move slowly. Okay, we're going to skip the applied here. But we'll do this real quick. I see the car has bilateral symmetry because you draw a line through here and you have mirror images, even though the steering wheel is slightly different, but bilateral. Chair, bilateral. This would be radial. Bilateral. No symmetry. Asymmetrical. Bilateral symmetry. In general, animals with bilateral symmetry are larger and more complex than animals with radial symmetry. They have complex organ systems that help them function efficiently. Also, most animals with bilateral symmetry have streamlined bodies, which help them move quickly. Most animals with bilateral symmetry have heads at their front ends. Having a head is important to an animal. Most of an animal's specialized sense organs, such as its eyes, are in its head, as you can see in Figure 3. In addition, a concentration of nervous tissue is found in an animal's head. Nervous tissue processes information for the animal and coordinate the animal's response. In fact, an animal moves into a new area with its head first. Okay, compare and contrast. You have to do this on your notes. In the Venn diagram, write how a sea star and a fish are alike and how they are different. Look at the sea star, look at the fish. Tell me how they are different on the sides here, and tell me how they are alike in the middle. Animal or not. How do you know an animal when you see it? Figure 4. All animals have functions they perform. Most animals have some type of symmetry in an organization that includes organ systems. So, the function of this tiger here, is a predator. It is a stalker of prey. What adaptations does this animal have for attaining food? Well, look at these sharp teeth here. How's this animal body organized and the type of symmetry does it have? It has bilateral symmetry. It has a head at the front, just like the reading just talked about. So this tiger has bilateral symmetry. Okay, that is it for the reading. Have a great day and take care.